How I shut down a shady tow company with one phone call. Several years ago, I started working for a towing company. It was pretty much the only job I knew how to do other than painting cars, which was really taking a toll on my health. The pay at the towing company was decent, but we had to share trucks, and the boss thought he knew the best spots for us to wait to get the most calls. This little detail would become very important later on. A few months into the job, I realized I wasn't making as much money as I should have been. One evening, while sitting in a parking lot waiting for a call, I decided to look up the laws about my job. My boss was a real jerk. The trucks had transponders, so he could see if we had them idling with the air conditioner on during a hot day or with the heat on during a cold day. He would always call and complain if the wheels weren't turning. During my research, I found out something interesting. If the boss required us to sit in a specific parking lot, street, or any location of his choice, we were entitled to an hourly wage in addition to our commission. This is called being engaged to wait. However, if he allowed us to roam freely while waiting for calls, we weren't entitled to hourly wages and were just waiting to be engaged. I didn't mention this to him right away, but I started keeping track of my time. Another month or so went by, and he started nitpicking everything I did. He got mad at me for tiny things that didn't even matter, like forgetting a soda can in the cup holder. He actually had a screaming fit about it. By then, I was fed up with the job and had already found another one. So I decided it was time to put my plan into action. I called him and said we needed to talk about my final paycheck and that we could meet at his convenience. When we met, I laid out my case, explained the state law, and told him I expected to be paid for the hours I was on the clock but not allowed to roam freely looking for work. He flat out refused, saying that wasn't part of our agreement when I was hired. I didn't argue because I had already planned my next move. I took my final check and left. The following Monday, I called the state labor board and told them everything. They were very interested in what I had to say. They decided to investigate and reviewed his employment records and talked to the other drivers. When they were done, they gave him a bill for all the back wages he owed us. It was so much money that he couldn't afford to pay it. He had to sell his trucks, his boat, and even the lot where the business was located. He ended up going out of business. I never got all the money he owed me, just a fraction, but knowing that I knew the law better than he did and watching his business crumble was pure satisfaction. Looking back, there were some important lessons from this experience. First, knowing your rights is crucial. Researching the laws about my job gave me the power to take action. Second, keeping records is important. Documenting my hours and working conditions helped me prove my case. Lastly, standing up for yourself, even when it's risky, can lead to big changes. In my case, it didn't just give me personal satisfaction. It also stopped unfair practices that were hurting other employees. After the company closed, it made other employers in the industry realize they had to follow labor laws. My former coworkers became more aware of their rights and were more willing to challenge unfair treatment. As for my boss, he learned the hard way that treating employees unfairly can backfire in a big way. In the end, going from a frustrated employee to someone who helped bring about change was an amazing journey. It showed me that knowing a bit about the law and standing up for what's right can make a big difference. While I didn't get all the money I was owed, the experience taught me valuable lessons and gave me a sense of accomplishment that was worth more than money. It was a reminder that sometimes the biggest victories come from knowing you made a difference in the fight for fairness and justice.